Imagine you are waking up on a normal Tuesday morning. You go to get your breakfast and you turn on the news. But instead of the normal weather or sports, you see something that makes your jaw drop. You see the royal family, the most famous family in the whole world, changing right before your eyes. For a very long time, people thought the king and his family were like a fairy tale. They lived in big stone castles. They wore golden crowns. They always smiled for the cameras. But on March 10th, 2026, the fairy tale ended. Something happened that no one ever thought would happen in our lifetime. Prince William, the man who will be the next king, did something very brave and very scary. He decided that being a royal is not just about having a fancy name, it is about being a good person. He took a metaphorical sword and used it to protect the family's future. He didn't just make a small change, he changed everything. If you haven't heard this story yet, you need to sit down and listen closely. The British monarchy will never be the same again. This is the story of how a future king chose honesty over his own family members. It is a story about secrets, money, and doing what is right even when it is very, very hard. Everything changed because of what Prince William did. Most people thought William would be very quiet and careful when he became the leader. They thought he would move slowly and not make any big waves, but they were wrong. On that morning in March, William showed the world that he was a strong leader. He did not use nice words or wait for permission. He made a giant move that experts are calling a total reconstruction of the royal family. It was like he was rebuilding a house from the ground up. In a very serious announcement from his home at Kensington Palace, William told the world that Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie were no longer working royals. He didn't just give them a break, he took away everything they had. He took away their royal titles. He took away their special jobs with the army. He took away the charities they helped. He even took away their partnerships with big companies. In one single day, it was all gone. It was not just a small change to make the families smaller. It was like a surgeon cutting away a part of the body to save the rest. It was an amputation. But we have to ask a very big question. How did this happen? How did two princesses end up here? These are women who grew up inside the most famous walls in the world. They were at every big party. They wore the most beautiful designer dresses at the horse races. They were loved by many people, but now they have lost their title. They are even being watched by the police in their own homes. How did they fall so far and so fast? The answer is not just one bad mistake. It is a very long trail of secrets that goes back many years. It is a shadow that has been following them for a decade, and that shadow leads back to a very bad man named Jeffrey Epstein. This story is very dark, but we need to look at it to understand the truth. To understand why William did what he did, we have to look at the sins of the father. This is where the trouble really began, long before that morning in March. For many years, Prince Andrew, who is the Duke of York, was a big problem for the royal family. People now call him Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor because he isn't allowed to use his royal title anymore. He was the king's biggest embarrassment for a long time. He was friends with a man who did very bad things, Jeffrey Epstein. There were photos of them together. There were logs of Andrew flying on Epstein's private planes. In 2019, Andrew did a TV interview that was a total disaster. He tried to explain himself, but it only made things worse. In 2022, the family took away his royal duties and his army titles. Back then, the palace tried to tell everyone that Andrew was the only one who did wrong. They said his daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, had nothing to do with it. They said the girls were just victims because their father made bad choices. But now we know that was not the whole story. The wall of protection around the daughters has been broken. In February 2026, something even bigger happened. Prince Andrew was arrested by the police. He was in big trouble for things he did when he was working for the government. But when the people who look at money started checking everything, they found a giant web. It was a web of secret messages, hidden bank accounts, and private meetings. And guess who they found in the middle of that web? They found his daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie. Think about that for a second. The palace had tried to keep the Epstein scandal away from the rest of the family. They tried to keep the poison inside Andrew's room, but the poison had leaked out. The daughters were allegedly still talking to people they shouldn't have been talking to. If you found out that your friends were talking to criminals, what would you do? Prince William decided he had to act. He could not let the secret stay hidden anymore. The day before the big announcement, there was a very serious meeting. This happened on March 9, 2026. Prince William met with his aunt, Princess Anne. Princess Anne is a very tough woman. People call her the iron backbone of the family because she's so strong and honest. Together, they created a new rule called the Royal Accountability and Ethics Act. This is a very important law for the royals. It says that every member of the family must pass an ethics check. This is not a choice. It is a rule. Every royal must let experts look at their bank accounts. They must show their private emails. They must show where all their money comes from. This was a way to make sure no one was hiding secrets or doing bad things. If you have nothing to hide, the test is easy. But if you are hiding something, the test is very scary. This law also said that if a royal refuses to take the test, they are kicked out of the family forever. Beatrice and Eugenie were asked to take this test. They were told that experts were ready to look at their papers. The palace said the test would be fair, but the two sisters said no. They refused to show their bank records. They refused to let anyone see their private money in other countries. When they said no, they made William's job very easy. In the royal family, you do not say no to a rule like this unless you have a big secret. That was the message the palace sent to everyone. By saying no, the sisters basically ended their own royal careers. It was the final moment for the House of York. This brings up a big question for all of us. When does being loyal to your family become a bad thing? When should you stop protecting a family member who is doing something wrong? The sisters had many years to walk away from their father's mess, but they chose to stay. Now let's look at the specific things the police found. These details are very shocking. First, they found a secret communication network. The police in London and the experts in America found documents. These documents show that Beatrice and Eugenie were still talking to people from Jeffrey Epstein's group. They were doing this long after Epstein died in 2019. This was not an old mistake. This was happening recently. Second, the police found out about expensive gifts. Beatrice allegedly received very expensive jewelry, art, and big payments of money. The investigators don't think these were just birthday presents. They think the money was given to her to make sure she stayed quiet about the bad things her father and his friends were doing. It was hush money. The third thing is even more serious. It is called shadow diplomacy. Beatrice went on some trips to countries like Vietnam and Singapore. While she was there, she was supposed to be representing the family, but the police think she was actually sharing royal secrets with companies linked to Epstein. She wasn't serving the king, she was helping herself make money. Fourth, they found something called a slush fund. This is a secret pile of money. The investigators think that in 2022, the sisters used royal money to pay off the people who were suing their father. They used money that belonged to the crown to protect a man who did bad things. This means they were using the public's respect and the family's wealth to hide crimes. This is a very deep level of corruption. Did you ever think it would go this deep? It shows why William had to be so tough. So what exactly did William take away? At 9:00 in the morning on March 10th, William stood up and spoke. He was joined by Princess Anne. He looked very calm but very firm. He said that Beatrice and Eugenie were stripped of all their army titles and their official duties. He said they could no longer use the title of princess or be called Your Royal Highness. This is a huge deal in England. Also, big companies like banks and phone companies stopped working with them. Even universities took away their special honors. But the most serious part was their homes. The police moved in and put a guard around their houses. This was not to keep them safe. It was to make sure they didn't take any computers or secret papers out of the house. The police wanted to find the secret servers that had all their messages on them. William also made a very big decision about the children. Beatrice and Eugenie have young children named August, Sienna, and Wolfie. William said that these children must be protected from all the bad news and the police investigations. Princess Anne helped move the children to a safe place at Sandringham, which is a big royal estate in the country. They are being looked after by people who are not involved in the scandal. William wanted to make sure the kids were safe while the police searched their parents' houses. William said this change is permanent. It is not a timeout. The York family has been pruned like a branch off a tree. A source from the palace said, "We are not a club for people who want to be rich and secret. We are a pillar of the country. If you cannot be honest, you cannot be a royal." For a long time, Princess Eugenie and her husband, Jack Brooksbank, lived a very fancy life. They spent a lot of time in a beautiful place in Portugal. It looked like a perfect life with golf and the ocean. But the police found out that this was a mirage. It was a fake image. They found a file called the Nightingale dossier. This file showed that they were using secret companies in Portugal to move money. The police think they were using this money to pay for their expensive clothes and vacations after the king stopped giving them money in 2019. This has been very hard on Eugenie's marriage. Her husband, Jack, is a businessman. He does not want his name to be ruined by all these secrets. At the king's birthday party, Eugenie was all alone. People say she looked very sad and stressed. Jack is tired of all the legal fights. Eugenie chose to stay loyal to her father, and now she might lose her husband too. The palace has said they will not help her with her choices anymore. While all this was happening in England, something else was happening in California. This is where Prince Harry and Meghan Markle live. The palace has decided to end their drama too. They are using the same new law, the Royal Accountability and Ethics Act. William has told the courts in California that Harry and Meghan cannot use the titles of Duke and Duchess of Sussex to make money anymore. The palace says they have been using their royal names just to get rich. They say you cannot be a private citizen in America and also act like a royal in England. This is a big legal fight. Harry and Meghan's life in California is falling apart. They are losing their big house because they don't have enough money to pay for it. Their big contracts with TV companies are disappearing. There's also a very sad part about Harry. He wrote a book and talked on TV about how he was very sad and had a lot of trauma. He said he was not doing well mentally. The palace lawyers are now using his own words against him. They are saying that if Harry is as unstable as he says he is, then he might not be able to take care of his children properly. Harry tried to use his sadness to get people to feel sorry for him. But now, that is being used to show he might not be a good father. At the same time, the police found out that the same secret money network the York sisters used might be connected to Harry and Meghan too. This means the Epstein stain might have reached all the way to California. The palace is determined to clean it all up. The most important people in this whole mess are the children Archie and Lilibet. They are very young and they are stuck in the middle of this war. The palace has started something called the London Sanctuary Protocol. This is a plan to bring the children back to England to live in a safe place. Princess Anne says this is not about politics. It is about saving the children from a home that is too stressful and loud. They have fixed up a big house called Royal Lodge for the kids to live in. Princess Catherine and Duchess Sophie are making sure it feels like a real home, not a cold castle. They want the kids to be happy. They even kept the children's favorite nanny so they wouldn't be scared. The goal is to let Archie and Lilibet be normal kids. They won't be on TV. There won't be any photos of them in magazines. They will go to school with their cousins George, Charlotte, and Louis. They will play outside and do homework. William and Catherine want them to grow up without being famous for the wrong reasons. They want to help the kids understand who they are without all the victim stories. Princess Anne said, "We are not erasing their history, but we are stopping that history from ruining their future. One day, when the kids are older, they will ask why this happened. The palace wants to be able to tell them that they were protected because they are part of the family, even if their parents made mistakes." With the York sisters and the Sussexes gone, there is a big empty space in the royal family. Who will do the work? Prince William has picked a new team called the Frontline Five. These are the people who will represent the king now. At the center is Catherine, the Princess of Wales. She is coming back to her full duties and she looks amazing. She's the perfect example of what a royal should be. She is professional and clean. She has no secrets. She is the bedrock of the family. Then there is Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh. She has been working very hard for a long time without making a big scene. She will take over the charities that Beatrice and Eugenie used to help. The third person is Lady Louise Windsor. She's the daughter of Sophie and Edward. She is young, smart, and everyone likes her. She's a clean slate for the family. She shows that the younger royals can be good and dutiful. The fourth person is Queen Camilla. She's the senior royal who keeps everything steady. And the fifth person is young James, the Earl of Wessex. He's being taught by Princess Anne how to be a good royal. Every single royal event is now being checked to make sure the York family has nothing to do with it. This is not just a quick change. It is a brand new way of doing things. The Frontline Five are the new face of the monarchy. As the sun went down on March 10th, the world realized that the monarchy had changed forever. This was the purge of 2026. For hundreds of years, if you were born a royal, you were safe. You could be a bad person, but you still got to keep your title because of your blood. But William ended that. He showed that your blood is not a shield. If you're bad, you are out. This is a huge message for all the other royals in the world. The survival of the family depends on being honest, not on protecting people who do wrong. Even though some family members were embarrassed, the public actually likes the king more now. People like to see that the rules apply to everyone, even princesses. The royal family is not a ghost from the past anymore. It is something new. It is building itself back up after destroying the bad parts. Princess Anne said it perfectly. The monarchy is not just a family business. It is a part of the country that must stay clean to survive. The Epstein scandal that almost destroyed them has been washed away because William was brave enough to cut away the York branch. The drama with Harry and Meghan is being handled with law and order. The British monarchy is moving forward. It is smaller now, but it is much stronger. It is more honest than it has been in a long time. Prince William did what people thought he couldn't do. He proved that the crown is more important than any one person. This is a very big moment in history. It has been 1,000 years of kings and queens, but this is a brand new chapter, and the story is not over yet. The children are still getting used to their new lives. The police are still looking at the secret computers and bank accounts. We still don't know exactly what the York sisters were doing or how much they knew. We don't know what Harry and Meghan will do next now that their titles are gone. There are still many questions to be answered. But we know one thing for sure: the old way of doing things is gone. The new era has begun, and it is all about being accountable for your actions. So we want to hear from you. Do you think Prince William was right to be so tough, or do you think he was too mean to his cousins and his brother? It is a very hard choice to make. Some people think families should always stay together. Other people think that if someone does something bad, they should be punished no matter who they are. What do you think? Please leave a comment and tell us your thoughts. We want to know if you think the royal family is better now that it is smaller and cleaner. If you think everyone should follow the rules, even if they have a crown, hit the like button. We are going to keep watching this story very closely. Every time there's a new update about the police or the palace, we will tell you. Make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss anything. Share this video with your friends who like royal news. March 10th, 2026 was the day the world saw the truth. The new Windsor era is here, and we are going to watch it all happen together. Thank you for listening to this incredible story of change and justice.